Can share it. Is it ready for me to share yet? Yeah. So when it takes what is it like a 30-second delay? I got my little shirt, Nuck if you buck with some somewhere between praise and worship. I'm live now. Okay. Okay. I don't see it on my. Did you share on your page? Okay. Okay. Let me share it on mine. Um. And then I'm gonna share in the other groups. Hey everybody. Hey, good and happy Saturday morning. I'm gonna get these shares out real quick. And okay, then how does that go back? Hey, good Saturday morning, everyone. Um, it is a beautiful day. Is it? It's hot out there, Mickey. It's hot. Welcome to Talking with Tonya. Um, it is a beautiful Saturday. I'm not, I don't miss winter at all, Mickey. At all. I want to give a big thanks to Mickey, who is the tech person. This is his platform. He originated 8110 News Media Group, which is taking off. When you want the real news, not just the good news, you come to 810 News Media. So please hit your like and share buttons, and please share. Sharing is caring. We cannot do this without you. And we like a one man, or I'm like a one woman show. I'm the writer, the producer, I'm the researcher, I'm the I have to do the show, and it take a lot of work. I think my last email to Mickey was probably about four something this morning, about four something. So we put a lot into this to bring you information that I feel or deem is worthy that we need to talk about. So I'm gonna start with a little bit of fun stuff. Um, and I hadn't opened it up. I had a couple people send me the TikTok that the lady made about me with the little neck pillow on, and got me on the airplane. Tabitha, gosh, what's her name? Tabitha. I forget her name. Tabitha Brown. Nick Few made a TikTok, and my sisters had sent it to me, and then Woodson, I opened up last night. Woodson sent it to me about 1:30 a.m. You know, him and Danielle up, and I opened it up, and I looked at it before, but I didn't really had a chance to look at, and it was funny. We don't realize who watch what we're doing, and it's funny, the parodies. It was cute. So if you want to take a look at it, it is on my page. And yes, I do travel just like that with the little neck pillow. And the first thing I do when I get on the airplane is when it's time to order a cocktail, I order me a cocktail. Because usually I got somebody's bad children sitting behind me, kicking the back of the seat. The back of the seat. So hit those like buttons and please share. We're going to start out today. There is a lot going on and some serious, serious things that are happening. One of the things we talked about was the service lines last week, and I talked about the door tags. Now, if you do not have, if you have not had your service line checked or repaired or your restoration, give me a call or inbox me so I can get your name on the list. A lot of people, that list is just growing. They don't know if their service lines have been checked. The company is not asking the people, they're just hanging the door tags on the doors and walking away. And people are saying, hey, I didn't get my service lines checked. I haven't gotten mine. And a lot of people have been on that waiting list. So we're going to put up, Mickey, we can put up this first story and why this is important. We should not be fighting at this point or even having an issue with where are we at in the service line in restoration. Lead service line should have been done. This project should have been done. One, because we had a company who was working, and this company was WT Stevens. WT Stevens was licensed. They actually won the bid for 2019. They were the lowest bidder. So going into 2020, they should have been ready. Well, they were ready to work. But what happened? Politics over the people. Politics over the people is why we still have lead service lines in people's homes. Their contract was shelved. It was shelved by Mayor Neely. That is a fact. It's set down on that shelf, 3, 4 shelves down when you're facing the shelf in his office. He put politics over the people and the lives of the people who have service lead lines still in their home. So this is Judge Lawson. And Judge Lawson, I'm going to read some of his story. If you can bring his story up, Mick, the article. Judge Lawson, we're facing that $500 a month fine that's going to be coming up. And it's not real clear. When Scripps was here and Scripps had asked them, how Scripps had asked how many lead lines needs to be replaced. We're still at about 90%, is what I believe the mayor stated. We were at 90% in 2019 also. So those, which one it is? Here, I can send it back to you because first thing that they'll say is, "Oh, that's not true," and nope, we deal in facts. We deal in facts. So when we talk about where Judge Lawson is at, this will be we have by August the 1st, so the end of July, July 31st, all lead service lines have to be replaced. We are not going to meet that deadline. We're just not. I don't see that we are going to you got it? Eh, Yeah, pull it up so people can see it because I want people these aren't my words and people should be deeply concerned. Deeply concerned. July 31st, all lead lines are supposed to be done. Um, Restorations will not be done. Lead lines, I just don't see that it's going to happen. Yep, I see where it's at. So this article was updated last February 20 or this past February 27th. And so the new deadline was given to end it by August 1st. So by end of July 31st, all service lines lead lines should be checked or replaced and the excavation should be done. Flint does not have those. Matter of fact, we don't even have a number. And I'm gonna tell you about the list that people who have contacted me, it's over 50 something people who have contacted me and said, "Hey, I need to have my name on the list." So whatever number that they're giving, it cannot be a true number if these people are still calling and saying, "Hey, I need to have my lead lines looked at," and they did not. They have not looked at 'em. So you got it. So Judge Lawson wrote, it says the city of Flint last fall the city of Flint agreed last fall to the August 1st, 2023 completion deadline, and with 90% of the service line excavations and replacements completed. We are well on the way to that goal. We are committed to getting the lead out and for the health and safety of Flint residents. A Flint judge is giving the city now until August 1st to complete the service line replacement program that he said that has been mismanaged and is required to carry out notification process for residents that city attorneys had argued would be an undue burden. They didn't want to put the tags on the doors, which would probably explain why they are haphazardly just placing them. So when residents are saying, "Hey, I got a tag," but they didn't, no one's changed, they're saying the tag state your service line was replaced. Residents are saying, "No, no one ever, changed mine." I had two ladies, two seniors said, "I was in the hospital. They didn't change mine. They didn't come to my house and look at anything." So U.S. District Court Judge Lawson ordered Friday, May 24th Nearly 6 years later, the Flint officials agreed to settle a lawsuit filed by a coalition of groups and individuals and the concerned pastors for social action. The settlement obligated the city of Flint to identify and replace lead service lines throughout Flint and to restore the properties after excavations. Excavations, when it came up in council, when I asked Mike Brown, that number has went from 1,500 to 1,800 to 2,500 to 6,000 to 8,500. To basically, he did not know. Then he said if he had the people or the personnel to do the restorations, he didn't have and didn't know where the money would come from. That's the problem. Some people are calling about my grass, my sidewalk, my driveway. They want to have their lawn reseeded, their sidewalk so they can walk on them. The bottom of their driveway where they did the cutouts with the cement. This was supposed to have been done. Flint officials have agreed to settle the elements of the new order, including the new deadline by August 1st. That's just not going to happen. I just don't see it. But I'm going to get down to the part. It says plaintiffs settled the agreement have estimated that there are approximately 6,000 residents in Flint where the city lacks a contemporaneous record of lawn and sidewalk restoration that it says that they have had completed. Now, here's the part where the records didn't get lost until after our last DPW director, Rob Benzick, who was basically the project manager and handling that. And he was there. He didn't lose them. The records were there. Before someone transfers over, you make sure you have someone to do that job. We lost Rob Benzick. Rob Benzick received a capacity building grant for the Mount Foundation for $36,000. That was taken away from him. It would have affected his retirement. So he left, like many of the other almost 20 so key talent people and department heads have left. It didn't cost the taxpayers any money. So $36,000 a year, zero cost to the residents. His capacity building grant was taken away. Lead lines are still in people's homes. One of the residents on the Scripps story, Hadia, who's in my ward, her service line has not been replaced. Her son has been raised on bottled water his entire life. He brushes his teeth, she cooks her food. She doesn't use the Flint water for anything. But here's the other part when when people don't understand what redlining is, Hadia's home is red line. Why is it red line? Because insurance companies will not give you insurance if you still haven't had your lead line replaced or you have galvanized plumbing. She's got both. She's got both. So when we talk about being out of touch with things, this is a single mom raising her child, and she has a serious issue. Your home is normally your biggest asset. That's her biggest asset. And so she can't get the city to replace her lead service lines. And she has a child there. And she's not the only one. Had a home at 24 parts per billion that they changed to let and they had a child that they were taking care of in that home with a compromised immune system. So when we talk about how long residents have had to deal with this unnecessarily, a lot of this could have been done 2-3 years ago if we had just used the approved contract and bidder, W.T. Stevens. Politics should never be put over people. And that's a big problem. It's a problem for me. It's a problem. It should be a problem for everyone. So the city approved $17.8 million contract with Lakeshore Global Corporation in August to carry out the lead service lines. So Lakeshore Global is the company that now W.T. Stevens is working up under as a subcontractor. They used to be the lead contractor, but now they are the subcontractor because their contract was shelved. So basically, they're now like the middleman. Now if W.T. Stevens, which is saving Flint's behind right now, can do them, they could have did them in 2022, 2021, and 2020 because the work is done outside. We can't say Flint workers weren't going into homes because they were. They were going into homes to change people meters, and if you didn't have your meter replaced, they cut your water off. So Flint was going into people's homes to change meters. So we could have had W.T. Stevens working at that time. But again, politics was played over people. Mickey, I'm going to have you. We're going to slip on to, I want people, to show, when we don't put the people first, what happens. I got a call yesterday, and this is going to be the LCR chart. So the LCR chart, when we talk about what is the LCR chart, um, a lot of this I'm not as familiar. People will hear um, activist Arthur Woodson talk about the water. Um, Not that one. This one is like a graph. Yeah, that one will be the next one. So when you'll hear Woodson talk about it, and then there are people who pay attention to that one. Yeah, yeah. They pay attention to what's happening in Flint, and they call because they're concerned. We do not have we don't have a DPW because we don't that position is open. So when it's open, our city administrator, Clyde Edwards, will fill in that position. He is not licensed. Yep, blow it up. You can take me out because I'm gonna explain this to the best that I can, and I'm quite sure Woodson will be in the notes, but I'm gonna keep it, you know, simplified. I always say, read it to me. When I told the person who called me about it and was going over everything, when he called, I'm like, break it down to me so I understand. Then when I got off the phone, I had called Woodson about it, and I told him I was going to take the graph off of his page. So when we talk about the lead copper rule and how much lead to copper and that you can have, and what was alarming to this, the max should be 1300. You cannot have more than that, be 1300 parts per billion. And if you look in that on that chart, Mickey, you have got one of them is 31, I said 3100, and then the other one is like 1335, 1330, and then the other one is, what is it, 3135, 3110, 3110, and 1330. So the limit is 1300. So he called me, someone who is this is their area expertise for over 30 years, and said, Tanya, you need to be concerned. I said, well, tell me, break that down to me. He said, when you have levels that are that high, he said, and by the way, I have never seen them that high. I said, well, what does that mean? He said, that means that the pipes are leaching. He says the coating it's not working. Something's going on. It's corrosive. Something's leaching into the water. We do know by the news story that Scripps did that our lead levels were increasing. They were creeping up. So when we get this report, and he called and he was telling me, he said, this is very dangerous. We have some issues. They need to find out what is causing this and what is going on, because levels like this should not be happening. So the one is almost three times the legal limit, the allowable limit, and the other one is just over the limit. So both of them are dangerous to human health and consumption. We have some problems. We don't know how many lead lines, service lines, restorations are to be done. And when the mayor was pressed by Scripps News, he kept saying, I'm not going to give you actual numbers. I'm going to give you percentages. Well, you've been at 90% since you've been there. You're going into your fourth year. If the one thing we didn't do, we should do right, we should know how many service lines need to be replaced. That's a number. We're not doing guesstimate estimates because that's what got people into trouble in the first place. This is an exact science. I have got 2,472 that need to be finished. I have 7,889 restorations. Those should be exact numbers. Why? Because people are put in position to where they should have the numbers. And if they don't have the numbers, they need to be fired. They need to be gone. And the mayor needs to make sure he's pressing people for that. An entire city was poisoned, and they still around here playing. When you don't know, somebody is don't know your numbers. Somebody is living with lead in their home. Somebody's lines and service lines are leaching lead into their water source. It's never okay. You need to know that number, Mayor Neely. You ran on it, fix it. And if you can't fix it, you need to resign. People are scared. They are scared. When they had last summer, which is another thing which was just bothersome, zero chlorine residuals over in the Mackin Road, um, Ballinger, Wabash, Welch area. And they were running the hydrants, and they ran them from Mackin Road all the way down to just across Welch. I was told, Tonya, the city had no business running that test when they were checking for chlorine to take it to the lab. That test is to be done in front of the residents in their home. So if you are getting your water tested and you smell something funny, or it looks discolored, and they're checking your chlorine residuals, they have the machines, the test machines, to test it right there. It takes no more than, I was told, 6 to 10 minutes to get a result. They were taking this lady and then tried to say she was crazy, because she says, "No, I know what the first test said because you did it in front of me, and it says zero chlorine residuals." Her next door neighbor ended up with Legionella in the hospital at Genesis. They had told her, "Do not ingest the water, do not cook with it, do not consume it." She didn't tell her neighbor that she's known for several years, decades. It's the city's responsibility to inform the neighborhood, and they didn't. Then they tried to say that, oh no, as long as it was one chlorine residual. Let me tell you how long it took for them to get to one chlorine residual. They ran those fire hydrants 24 hours to get it up to one chlorine residual. Now then they're going to say, well, you know what? It only has to be any sign of chlorine residuals. Yes, but what is the standard that has been set for Flint in the past to have at least zero point 0.5? That has been the standard. Anything below that, there's supposed to be a monthly routine to make sure they're managing the end of the lines. So if you live on the end of the line in the dead end and it's getting hot, call and get your water tested if you think it smells funny and something's going on. Because when they taking tests out of people's homes and say, "Oh, we're going to take it to the lab," when that test should be done right there, videotape them when they're doing it. Everybody know how to use their cameras. Use your camera. They testing your water. Record it when they're there. That's your right to do it. You pay for that water. You pay for that water. We should not have any lead lines, dirty water. Children should not be living in homes with the lead water. The water's not safe. People with compromised immune systems should not have to deal with paying for the highest water in the US and can't bathe with it, cook with it, don't want it on your skin. Your hair still falling out. You're breaking out in rashes. We should not be living like that and telling us it's okay. It's not okay. Stop letting people get passes. We may be resilient, but we got to quit letting them play us like we fools, because that's what they doing. You people need to show up. That is your city. You voted for every single one of us. And if we aren't doing our jobs, then you need to recall us. And that would include me. So if your water is it's getting hot, you are sketchy, you call and get your water tested. And I'm gonna put in the number. I'll put the number back in there. I don't have the number handy so people can do that because it's very real. They don't want you to know that we got zero chlorine residuals. And I'm gonna tell you that lady, and I felt so bad for her because she kept having to call them and call them back, and they telling her, "Oh no, you got one chlorine." No, they ran down to that corner and opened up all them hydrants to get it tested at a point one, a point one, when her neighbor was in the hospital with Legionella. So don't let people tell you, something that you know to be true. Don't let them do that. So I'm gonna move on to Mickey. What the next screen when where it states about the what happens. The lead, the LCR one. Yep. Yep. So why is so is there a safe level of lead in the drinking water? Technically, no. But then they're going to tell you, oh no, well, the standards and the guidelines. There is no safe level. Lead is not meant to be consumed. It is not meant to be consumed. So when it is consumed, and especially in children, and just like the little boy Robbie, he has the service line hasn't been changed. When children are exposed to lead, and when lead enters the body, low levels of lead in the body for children can result in behavior and learning problems, lower IQ and hyperactivity, slower growth, hearing problems, and anemia. So there are some very real issues to why, if you still have that lead line and you have a child, your child could be susceptible to these issues because of lead. We should have had this done. Little Robbie shouldn't have a lead line in his home. Not at all. We should be advocating for indoor plumbing. We should be advocating for having pipes inside of people's homes who still have galvanized plumbing removed and replaced. We still trying to figure out how many lead lines, restorations. I mean, this is so backwards, it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. So I'm gonna move on down to so if you need your lead line replaced service line, please inbox me and I'm gonna give my number at 810-471-7849. Or you can email me for it at tburns at city of Flint, or contact your council person. You can contact them by calling the council office at 810-766-7148. I was going to give them the legal department number. The numbers that the people who are calling me, they're all over the city. I've gotten Hemp Road, Atherton Road, um, Pulaski, um, Coventry. I've gotten them all over. So it's not just an isolated area. Its issues with service lines have not been replaced, and restorations is all over. That is definitely all over the city. But the service lines also, I thought it would be like some isolated areas, and it's not. It seems to be in almost every ward. So if you have not had your service line replaced, please call your council person to let them know. That is their duty to make sure that they assist you in getting that done. So let's get on to let's talk about the ARPA, the ARPA funds. It was funny, Mickey. I'm not gonna say it's funny. So I had some questions about the ARPA, um, and how does the ARPA work? Yes. Let's do allocation because it got interesting. I asked a basic question, and I called our chief resilient officer Lottie Ferguson. I called her because I had a couple questions, and I thought I would just be able, to get some clarity. So I called her, and she was out of town. This is now 10 days later. And so she said, she said, well, I'm out of town. I can call. I said, no, finish your vacation. Just call me when you get back. And so she emailed me back. Let's put up the email because let's get to that one. I sent you the email. Um, yeah, go for it. Yeah. Oh, okay. And I sent to her, was that May 24th? Uh, Well, let's start. Okay. And she said, "Do you mind if I call after vacation? Can you blow it up bigger because I can't see from here?" You know? Sorry. She said, "Do you mind if do you mind me calling you after my vacation?" No, I mean I have always had a good rapport with Lottie, and so I can't see that, Mickey. You can take me off the screen. I can't see it. It keep popping off. Listen, Mickey, I got 54-year-old eyes getting ready to be 55. I can see that. Okay, so this was my original. I said, Greetings. I would like to have a conversation about the ARPA and the allocation. When you get a moment, could you please give me a call? Thanks in advance. That was my email. That was May 24th. And she did send me an email back. I've always had a good rapport with Lottie. Um, so her next email, she asked me, "Do you mind if I call you when I do you mind me calling you after my vacation? Do you want to talk before the holiday?" I I told her, "No, take your vacation. Call me when you get back." Everybody needs a break. Flint is a lot to consume. So then I get back the email. Can you scroll down some more? I get the email back because I believe in transparency. Okay. Our ARPA funds are not, they're for the people. And this administration should be transparent when it comes to that. And we don't have transparency. And it's really kind of all over not that one. I want that one next, but I want to show where I have to have I if I have an ARPA question, I have to schedule a meeting and to ask my questions in person. And so when you don't have transparency, uh, now that one's not it, and it makes oh, it should be the other one that was in there because I think I saw it before that was up in there. Well, I'm gonna pull it up because I'm the only person that has. I guess if I have an ARPA question, I have to have a sit down meeting. I never heard of that before. Um, she says to me, and like I said, we've had a good rapport. She says, "Good morning. I have been reminded that if you would like a discussion regarding ARPA, and then in parentheses, or anything else, that the request be sent to Mr. Edwards to set up an in-person meeting." Now, that was sent to me on June 1st. I think my first email went out on May 21st. So she says, "I've been reminded that if you would like a discussion regarding ARPA or anything else, that the request must be sent to Mr. Edwards to set up an in-person meeting." Well, I did send them the list of my questions, but I mean, I don't think I need to have a meeting to sit down like I'm being called to the principal's office. You have a job. Answer the questions over the phone. I mean, they were simple questions. One, how is the process? How are we doing this? Because it's not clear. It's not clear to everybody how ARPA is going to be distributed. It's not clear, as we'll get into later, to even Councilwoman Judy Priestley as she was posting on social media. 14 months, our ad hoc committee did not give one meeting to council about the ARPA funds. Then they told a lie and stated they had given us, an update. No, you didn't. You did not. And when I asked for the date and what it was about, they couldn't come up with the date. But Councilwoman Lewis and Councilwoman Priestley validated each other's lie. Shame on them for that. People have very real issues. Saginaw has taken care of roofs. They've did furnaces. They're allocating their money, and with the GOP looming, who knows? It passed in the House that if the money had been allocated, that they're taking that back to municipalities, and ours has been allocated. But who knows once it goes to the Senate? They that's a whole different ball game. They might want to say, hey, you know what? If you haven't spent it by now, it's probably not an emergency and we want it back. Because Flint hasn't spent theirs. Matter of fact, if I have a question about ARPA, I got to make an appointment, Mickey, to go in to ask a question. I'm not doing that. So I sent back to her, and I sent to Clyde that because I'm gonna be transparent. ARPA is for everybody. It's the people's money. So I sent back. Um, I said, I would like. I said, greetings, per Lottie Ferguson. Any and all questions I have for her must be in person in a scheduled meeting. I would like to talk with her regarding questions pertaining to ARPA. This doesn't require an in person meeting, but a quick phone call is sufficient. If you would like to be on the call, I have no issue with that. Please advise as to the availability of both of your schedules for a phone conference. See, this is what they like to do. We can talk in council, we can talk over the phone, but it just does not require my time to schedule a meeting to ask some basic ARPA questions. Number one, if we had um, our Judy's and our ad hoc committee updating us, then I wouldn't have to have questions. But Mickey, put up Judy's Priestley's, and she is our finance chair. So I guess if we want to find out what's going on, because she doesn't understand clearly. Yep, it's three of them. Okay. So let's start with the first one because people were asking questions. She says, I want to clarify that I just got notification that there are no federal requirements for being current on property tax and water bills. My mistake, it was that I my mistake. It was what I understood after a conversation. A follow up email was sent and clarified that we are mirroring Saginaw's requirements. Okay, she hasn't let the council know. Not one update has she given. Let's go to the next one. She put this on social media though. So Judy goes, I've been very, I've been leery of talking about guidelines. I felt that it would be best to come from the administration. If they don't quit giving their power to this administration, she's an accountant. You hold them accountable. Frankly, I've been leery of talking about the guidelines. If she can't come to council to talk about it, that's her job to talk about it. It's her job. She's leery. I'm gonna let the I felt that it'd be best to come from the administration. The administration ain't telling us nothing, Judy. That's your job. They don't want us to know. If I got questions, I got to set up an in-person meeting to meet with them for a basic question. And my basic question is, what is going to happen to the residents who came out in those first four meetings, who sat there and listened? They did the initial input form, which the six of them voted for. I didn't vote for it. Councilman Mays didn't vote for it. And Councilwoman Jerry Winfrey Carter didn't vote for it. But the other six did. But what are we doing with those residents who thought, if I put my name and address on this, I will somehow be contacted? Judy, that's your job. Frankly, she said, I feel a little bit leery. Then you need to clear it up. I believe in clear and concise conversations. That's her job as the ad hoc committee, along with Councilwoman Lewis, who did not vote for pump station number 5 in her ward to get the poop out of people's basement, raw sewage in her own ward. That's their job. It's the ad hoc committee. How can you you waiting on administration? Quit giving the power of the council to the administration. Y'all get called down there like y'all getting called to the White House. I mean, stop it. You ask them, look, we need to have the guidelines clear because we want to make sure information is clear and transparent. It is not clear and it is not transparent. We're following Saginaw's guidelines. Saginaw is taking care of the residents. Y'all still figuring out clarity. Clarity. People got furnaces. And where's Flint? We're figuring out what we still gonna do. Go to that last one. Judy Priestley, she says, I agree. The city has done a poor job of informing people of the criteria. I hope that gets corrected real quick. Well, they talking about taking people money, and you talking about informing people. Judy, you're late. You're behind. You're the finance chair. Get on their behinds. I agree, she stated. The city has done a poor job. Okay, the city has done a piss poor job. If the finance chair, which is Judy Priestley, if the ad hoc committee, which is Councilwoman Liddell Lewis and Councilwoman Judy Priestley, if they feel that there's no clarity and that the city has done a poor job of informing the people, all people see is this money slipping through their hands. And everybody keeps saying the new hustle is a 501c3. A 501. And people were talking about one particular person. She was setting them up for all kind of people. John Cole had a 501c3. He had one, Coats for Kids. You won't catch Tonya Burns with a picture with him, the criminal sexual deviant pedophile. Mayor Neely was all over Flint with him, using his influence to make him seem like he was okay. He was safe to be around. But if the city, we talk about this ARPA funds, who telling all these people these 501c3s? They got them, they ain't never did nothing. Nothing that can be held accountable for. Put that one back up because I want to put, because people need to understand, when your council person doesn't understand, we are the checks to the balance. We balance. They are they are the executive, we're the legislative. We have power when we work in a group. They go up in there and give up everything for free. They just everything. What do you want? We'll give it to you. What do you want? We'll give it to you. Judy Priestley, I agree that the city has done a poor job of informing the people about the criteria. I hope that gets corrected. What are you talking about, hope? You make them correct it. You should have the support of all 9 council members to make sure we support you, Judy, and doing what's right for the residents. You giving all the power to them. If it ain't corrected now, it makes you think it's going to be corrected then. You don't give them your power. That's like giving them a blank check to your bank account. That's giving them your social security. You're letting them run all over you. You got the support of the council. Not one council member going to say that they should not have clarity, clear boundaries. This is wrong. When they don't understand that they work for the people. We work for the people. We work for the people. We're elected by the people. And people, when they say the city has done a poor job, I hope it gets corrected. I don't do hope. You show me in writing. But when I asked, Mickey told me I can't ask a question. I gotta set up an in-person meeting. My in-person meeting ain't gonna be no different than the phone call. It's not, but you're not wasting my time. Because if they sit up talking with the ad hoc committee and for 14 months, more than that, they didn't have a meeting with the council, we don't need an ad hoc committee. Judy posting all of this. This is a problem. This is a problem. So when people speak out and we have a meeting and we want to know, we have a right to know. The residents have a right to know. Residents need to be at the city council meeting. We got a budget hearing on Monday. ARPA is part of the budget. We don't know how much has been spent. We don't know what's left in there, and the public has a right to be there. There's a meeting Monday, there's a meeting Wednesday, we have committee meeting. So y'all need to show up, because I'm gonna tell you what, the 501c3s is getting the money. You know, they got them, they lined up. John Cole, the criminal sexual deviant, had, or I should say has, he's in jail now thanks to Sheriff Chris Swanson, he had a 501c3. The new hustle, the new hookup. You ain't got to work with the new con. It's conning people. He ain't business having his behind around no kids or nothing else. But he got a 501c3. No, they doing too much for me. Y'all need to be there for these meetings, and that's something that is important. So when we talk about transparency, this administration is not transparent. They in residents, well, I'm not gonna say residents, we got our ad hoc committee falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We hope that the administration is going to provide clarity. That money been in there since May 2020, May 19th. How are you hoping for clarity? That is not gonna happen. Look, I go to bed tonight. I hope I lose 50 pounds. That ain't gonna happen. You know? I Mickey over there cracking up. I mean, I hope I'm gonna go play the lottery. I hope I win the mega ball. That ain't gonna happen looking at the odds. I mean, we talking hope and reality. The administration has done a poor job of letting the residents know. You have a right, you have a responsibility to speak up for the residents. They elected you. They elected you. You don't go in there trying to be nice. Like, you have to talk nice to the administration, but they don't talk nice to us. I give respect when respect is earned. If you come in with some crazy answers, I'm gonna come up with some craziness too, because that's what they do. Whittigan was terrible. He blew everybody off. Now we got this DDA. Now Councilman Pfeiffer and put out there. We consumed part of their deficit last year, about 135,000. I requesting information to find out how much of the DDA budget we're going to absorb this year. Why? We know there were some problems. Councilman Pfeiffer put out there the credit card reports have been out there. Someone I saw him on social media, some of them. Now he put out, I think he in his article he did to I forget the name of the journal place, but he put out like 4,100. Let me blow y'all socks off because everybody else get paid, but Flint residents don't even get what's even due to them. Uh, I was told it's about 35,000. Yeah, let me say it again. 35,000. And it's been documented. So when I found out about it, I contacted Councilman Pfeiffer. I contacted him because I wanted to, we can only talk to two people. He wasn't aware of it. So I contacted him and to let him know, hey, this is a problem. So we can work on this together. And I mean, eyelashes are nice, but Tonya Burns ain't got no mink eyelashes. Look, I don't. If makeup take more than 10, 15 minutes, I don't do it. I don't have time for it. So some of the extravagant things which were on there, and the DDA, we absorbed the DDA's deficit into our general fund. Our budget hearing, our budget adoption, which will be Monday, that's going to come out the general fund. So whatever, if they have a deficit, and they got some problems over there. I didn't put those up. They didn't leaked out, but I want all 35,000 itemized parts. Listen, we make 22.5 a year, and AC Deacon Dumas was saying, council is want to raise. Yes, Tonya Burns works really hard. Okay, Mickey, what's your question? Well, here's the thing: when we talk about clear and good information, we, we have not the pension plan. The pension plan is over 200 million is underfunded. We would have to make, which was estimated, 40 million payment per year. The general fund is about 56 million, no more than like 58. So we would have to make a payment for 10 years of 40 million per year. So if we were to take 40 million and make that payment, which because the pension fund is a big one, big part, we would only have 16 million to take care of the city. Now we were supposed to get that money to offset our pension plan. Guess what, y'all? Transparency. We ain't got it yet. We ain't got it yet. It's not been applied. I asked during the budget hearing. That's why people have to pay attention. I'm gonna be transparent because when you tell the truth, you always remember it. When you tell a lie, you got to redo it, chase it, don't know, and refer. That has not been applied. When our auditors have stated when we do a budget, we should have all budget. Our grants budget is not included in our budget adoption. Our ARPA budget, it's not included. I want to know what the DDA are we absorbing their deficit again. So when we talk about transparency, we don't have it. Now remember, Flint has went into emergency management a couple times, and this looks like we headed back to it again. When you look at everyone who keeps leaving, so we start counting who leave. We done lost two DPW directors. We then went through um, three, two Shelby Freyer, Rob Whittigan, and now we have Jane's. I remember Jane's last name, who she's interim or acting right now. Those are key positions. We have no economic development director, but I think Emily Doran. Let me tell you about this one because I like Emily. I'm not gonna be mad at her from what I'm hearing. Her deal went through that Emily Dore gets $110,000. She's taking Suzanne's spot. She has two deputy directors. She works from 7 a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. and she doesn't have to attend any city council meetings. and she's a department head. Technically, two department heads she'll be over from economic development, and then Suzanne with planning and development. Yes, she ran for the school board. She did. She did. So she will make. So that's a, so I'm like, I didn't know. So I am inquiring about that. But here's the thing: any department head, it's a violation of our charter, section I believe 3-208 or 5, that you have to come before council to tell us your budget. But there, she gets to have two deputies, and people at City Hall are hot. They are hot. People more people are talking about quitting, and I'm like, I don't have anything against Emily. You know, I don't know. Well, and as our city charter states, it's the director or department head has to. She doesn't have to attend any meetings. So, and her salary's at 110. So basically, they said the administration gave her whatever she wanted. So I'm checking into, and I'm gonna tell you, people can't say when you black, they like to say, oh, it's the black people saying, I hate to take color. It's the people who are saying, isn't a black or white issue. People are saying that's a great deal for her, and if she doesn't go to any council meetings, because council meetings, I'm gonna be honest, if you got to go to them council meetings, it's a lot. It's part of the charter. Everybody should show up. You're correct. But she'll have two deputies who I guess, so I had not seen the particulars, and we have, our agendas may get to us a little late because our clerk is understaffed. She is understaffed, and Davina Donahue does a great job. Right. That part. I can't make that make sense. Listen, I don't do fuzzy math. But, and she's at 110. And she leaves at 3 every day. Ain't got to show up for council. Look, part of the job, the hardest part is coming to council. But we are supposed to make sure that they're, if we can help them with the department, what their goals are, that's in the charter. What are their budgets? What is it, that they need from the council to us? That's in the charter that they're supposed to come quarterly. But she doesn't have to, I guess, ever come. But I haven't read all of it. This is what people are calling and saying. But see, deals slip through that nobody knows about. This should have been asked beforehand. And just like Jane, our CFO, before her 90 days lapse, per charter, she's supposed to come before council. If after 90 days, she's automatically made permanent. And that's what people are also concerned about that. They are. So, you know, we got a lot going on. You listen, Mickey. 73. And you got two people yeah, yeah. You know, and here it is, our clerk, her budget needs to be increased. I mean, that is really, and Davina works weekends and late at nights. I mean, she works. She's always been a very hard worker, and she works weekends. And Davina will be like, if I send an email at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, sometimes she has responded at that time, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I know she's working. She works late, and but she ain't off at 3. you know The CFO, she came from a temp agency. She did disclose that at one of the accounts. She came from a temp agency. She has no municipality experience, and she said she's a very quick learner. And she was working under Robert Whittigan, our former CFO, for about, I want to say, maybe 6 months. She worked under him, and then she went into that position. But here's the thing: we got to quit letting this administration put people in place without coming before council. They keep doing it, and you wonder why things are running amok. But let's get back to that pension fund. The people out there with the pensions, and I did ask Jane. Jane, when you ask her questions, the CFO, she is very transparent. When you ask her, she will answer your questions, and if she doesn't, she'll get back with you. But she did tell me I gotta have you gotta send it through Davina. They make you jump through a bunch. You can never just say, "Hey, I need this question," or me to you. They want you to go to like 5 different people. I'm like, you're making red tape for government. And maybe with that part, because I don't like government, bunch of red tape. Maybe I am a conservative because it serves no purpose. So if that part they want to say Tanya Burns is a Republican, I'm like, yeah, I am, but I'm a Democrat. I don't like all the red tape. I should be able to call you up as I'm working. Hey, I got a question, or shoot you an email and get a response. Government should be transparent, and Flint should be transparent with emergency management. All these times where they stripped and sold everything that wasn't nailed. Well, they even took something that was nailed and bolted down. They took Santa Claus off the roof and they took it off. And then with the water crisis and poison of a city, this administration ran on truthfulness and transparency. Mayor Neely ran on truthfulness and transparency. And you know how I know? Because I was going to run and that was my model, and he took it. And he ain't been truthful or transparent. I need him to be transparent because people don't trust government or believe that government and our local government is transparent. And especially when we talk about these ARPA funds, you know, what is going to happen to those 5, 6, or 700 initial input forms? Those people should be at the front of the line before nonprofits, and we need to be making sure we get them into the system. Now, how they're going to give the money out through the nonprofit like Habitat for Humanity, I'm not liking all the guidelines to Habitat for Humanity. And some of these other ones that they want you to have your taxes paid, homeowners insurance. Some people can't get homeowners insurance. Like Hadia, she has galvanized plumbing. She may have to get the plumbing first done to get insurance. Well, not if she does. She's got to get the plumbing removed first to get insurance because her insurance company dropped her. She's not the only one, and it's called redlining. It's redlining, in certain areas. So when we talk about how we, that money and that ARPA money, they should be speaking. It shouldn't be fuzzy. Councilwoman Priestley, the finance chair, the ad hoc committee, should not be waiting for the administration to tell them everything. You have a power. You have a right. You should be asking this administration, and not should be asking, it should have been given out. We should be clear when they go to the administration to give us back information to give to our constituents. If they're not clear, the ad hoc committee, and they told a lie that they came back. It was a lie that Liddell Lewis and Judy Priestley told. They did not give us a meeting in 14 months. We ain't got no updates. The updates I got, she done put up there on fake. Somebody sent them to me. Somebody sent me her responses on there. And I said, well, she hasn't talked to us or sent the email. It's not clear to her. It's not clear. And she's been kind of waiting on the administration. Well, you keep waiting on the administration, that timeline, deadline gonna be gone. And residents again won't get nothing. Almost $1 billion, like almost 800 million, almost $1 billion, came through here during the water crisis. Residents didn't get a dime. A dime. Certain things were renovated, like Capitol was. We should be able to go anything at the Capitol for free with all that money. And you get a discount ticket if you're a resident, but it should be free for us. So what residents need to do, and I know we wrapping up our, I'm over, Mickey. Look at there. So what residents need to do, you have a right, that's your money. There's no clear process. And according to our ad hoc committee, our finance chair, can you put that back up what Judy Priestley said? She needs to go in there and let them know this is not acceptable. When she said, I agree that the city has done a poor POOR job of informing people of the criteria. I hope that gets corrected soon. That is a joke to me. That's almost a joke to me when we talk about the DDA and asking Mayor Neely to investigate the DDA. I mean, that's like leaving crack in front of a crackhead and saying, don't use the crack. That's like telling a bank robber, leaving the vault open and saying, don't rob the bank. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. I mean, we should not be asking them, not at this point. We should be requesting. They should be informing us. The transparent, they want us to believe in government. The only way we can believe in government is if you do what you say you gonna do. Do what you're supposed to do. We'll support you. Quit lying to us. Quit lying. But if I got a question, I gotta have a meeting. They making me have a whole meeting about some questions. So I didn't get a response back when I emailed it back to Clyde Edwards. You can be on the line. I don't have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. And Lottie. But why aren't y'all being transparent? Tell me why this administration is not being transparent. Why they can't answer questions. That's not y'all money. And I also requested a list of all the nonprofits that are lined up to get money. I want to know, and I'm gonna share them with y'all, the public. I'm transparent. I'm gonna share that because it should be shared. When we looking at who getting these money, John Cole had one. I got a problem with that on every day of the week that ends in the letter Y. The pedophile, criminal sexual deviant had a 5 coats for kids. His spirit wasn't right. People said, well, we didn't know. Malarkey, bull crap, because you knew something was wrong about. I knew something was wrong. And if your spirit didn't tell you something was wrong, something is wrong in your spirit. It was all over that man. You could see it in him that something wasn't right. And when the Holy Spirit's speaking to you, y'all better listen or trust your intuition or trust your gut feeling. But it's funny, I see him out here saying, oh, it's enough about talking about John Cole. It's enough. We just need to move on. No, we don't, because you know who can't move on? That 14-year-old child who now has HIV, who will live the rest of his life infected. And his life didn't start. He wasn't even old enough to get a driver's license. He wasn't old enough to be 21 to buy. He couldn't buy 18 to buy a pack of cigarettes. I don't agree with smoking. He wasn't 21 to buy any alcohol. He wasn't old enough to go into the army or serve in the military. He wasn't old enough to buy a mortgage or anything else. He took his life. He gave that child a death sentence. So I'm not going to quit talking about John Cole and those people who helped him. He used their influence. I'm not going to quit talking about him. Mayor Neely had no business taking that slime ball around anybody. He had no business having that criminal sexual deviant taking him around at the carnival. He had no business. That was his haven, his playground. He had Burston Fieldhouse 10 days before Sheriff Chris Swanson arrest him, where children go there for ballet, dance, basketball, and other children activities. He had no business being around children. And if other people those who truly love Christ, if they seen it, they should have seen it too. I don't trust if a person got a Jesus hat and a cross on their lapel. I'm looking at you like something wrong now, because people should be able to see the Jesus in you without you advertising it. People see it when they meet you. People see it in your persona. If my spirit, when I meet you, it irritates your demons, something is wrong with you. People see the God in you. You don't have to tell them. You don't. It ain't in the Bible where God said, put on a Jesus hat and a cross on your lapel and say, I'm a Christian, but then you turn around and act like a devil. You're doing Satan's work. No. Mickey, I'm going to be transparent. I want y'all need to be coming to that budget hearing, because in the budget, we should have had it about ARPA. Those retirees who are out there, they have not had that $40 million that's not been given by the governor yet. Jane did say it in our budget meeting. I think she said she has to July. But here's how they give us the okie doke. Last year, Robert Whittaker was like, oh no, we're going to have it. It's going to be in there. They stepped to that podium and they lie. They lie. It ain't in there yet. Jane said it wasn't in there yet. And Jane's pretty transparent. She may be impulsive, but Jane's pretty transparent when you ask her a question. And I do appreciate that part about her. I do appreciate that part. Now, her and Councilman Murphy be going back and forth. And Councilman Murphy has probably had about enough of her. But when I ask her a question, she is transparent. We're supposed to make that $40 million payment for 10 years, which would be $400 million. And we have not had anything. She has said it has not been infused. The ARPA budget, it should be part of our budget process. And the auditors, not what Tonya Burns said, the auditors said, when we're doing budget adoption, all budgets should be done. That's your grants budget, That's your departmental budgets. That is your ARPA budget. All budgets should be done at budget time because that's what it should be. That's what they said. And we don't. We don't have the ARPA budget included or the grants budget included. And we have not gotten the infusion to offset our pension yet. So y'all keep, falling for the tailpipe. I'm telling you what's true. I asked the questions. My comments are valid. It's during the budget hearings. And I appreciate Jane being transparent because there are retirees who have worked for the city who deserve, they work for the city in public service. They deserve to get their retirement. We owe them their retirement. So if you were a police officer, firefighter, you were a secretary, hey, our former clerks, if you work for the city of Flint, our DPW department, our people who fix our pipes, water main breaks, pave our streets, once they retire, they deserve to get their pension. So Mickey, I know we didn't get to everything today. Is it anything on there I need to answer? Well, the garbage contract is coming up. And I'm gonna tell you, priority might want to be careful. They missed a lot of streets. I mean, so that and that's gonna be coming up. So that, when that comes up, it and I believe they're talking about it now. The guy who had the mold in his basement, we talked about the gentleman on Brunel who brought the pictures. Okay. And he brought the pictures in. That is in the second ward. I don't know what has happened with him. He's not my resident. I did go to his house. He didn't answer. I don't know how he's proceeding. He's not my resident, but I did make the effort to still reach out to him. And that's the thing. I'm gonna answer questions for or help any resident when they call because that's what they do. If I'm out and I'm incapacitated, I would hope that my colleagues would do like I do, fill in the gap and help the residents. That's what we're supposed to do. When Councilwoman Lewis was telling people it ain't her fault, she don't that she got two homes and she don't care shop back on her back. I helped her residents get forms when she cussing out Pastor Thompson not once but twice. Those residents had raw sewage, and I believe two of the homes got condemned now because they could not get the raw sewage out. So this is what I saw two of the homes. So when we had that resolution that she voted no on to support the residents in her ward for pump station number 5, two of those homes I was told got condemned. So I'm a vote for people in my ward and advocate in all wards. I supported that resolution because even if we had in that resolution, if it helped people to, if you have a deductible, your $1,500 deductible, and people say, well, they have insurance, it's not the responsibility of the city. You pay for water and sewage on your bill. You pay for that. They're not giving you nothing. You pay for it. Ain't no freebies. You pay for it. So, supporting those residents, and I couldn't understand why she was battling with the residents. And I don't think she gets how far that reached out. That, and I never said anything. I just people were calling, I was helping. Pastor Thompson called and I took him some of the sheets, to pass out. And that's what you do. You help people. She was out of town, but then she come back to council and come after me. I never seen some of the goofy stuff she do, just goofy on there, making comments and, in that misfit politics or politically misfits and just talking crazy. I'm like, I've never seen that. I've supported Haskell Center and her ward where her and Judy took it off. Haskell. I asked to have put a motion on the floor to put it back on. Haskell is in her ward to give them $250,000. That ain't my ward, but I'm for the children. Just like I supported uh, when we had the McKinley Center. We support it's the people. You know, we get bogged down in that council because I don't. They do. I don't because I don't like you. I'm not going to support it. She also didn't support House of Esther. I think 6 of them stopped supporting House of Esther. House of Esther. They want to know why we got all these kids around here shooting, and the crime this past weekend was high. Was it 2 or 3 people got shot on Welch and Ballinger the other day? I think 1 or 2 of them died. That's a problem, And I'm gonna get on Police Chief Green. I know we running over. I've been asking for 3 years a public safety plan. Your budget presentation is not your public safety plan. There is a difference. And Chief Green gonna quit playing with I always answer your call. No, you don't. Nor my text messages. He needs to stop that. When he wants something, then he wants you to help you get a pass. But then it's selective. If I'm ever calling you, it's because I need help. They so busy shutting down stuff and saying, well, don't talk to this council person. Don't talk to this one. I represent the residents. And if I can't get you and you not being cooperative, I'm telling them why. I work for the people. I'm clear about my job description. The people elected me. I work for the people. And I'm going to ask questions that concern the people to make sure they're made whole or whatever their need is. That's my job. When you don't answer, Tonya Burns, you're not answering the people. That's clear. I'm one person. But my ward, I represent the people. When you don't answer, we should not be having, we talk about what is our public safety plan. Chief Green should have a comprehensive public safety plan. We had the shooting at the MTA, which they said was isolated. That's not the first shooting that we've had there. And I think it was one, was it originated there last year with a car, two people died. They were females. They were riding the bus. It was one, I think we had 3 shootings there. So when we talk about that at this point, where is our public safety plan? And they said, well, you can't stop these people. Yeah, some of that you can stop. But I'm gonna tell you that shooting on a Ballinger, I was like, I bet it's at the 3rd house from the corner, and it's the White House. I didn't even have to, and that doesn't have, and sure enough, it was. Because when you see this stuff, community policing is important. We do have a shortage, but we got to do something different. It's not working. It's not working. And they said, well, they shot at this person. It is retaliatory with these shootings, but we need to get in there to stop the retaliatory. We got to, and I've talked to some of the parents. Some of the parents are scared to death. They scared to death. And that article came out about the protest witness protection program. Now people don't feel comfortable because they stated the person who was supposed to be in the witness protection program got killed. So now they like, well, I don't even want to talk. So we got to do better. And avoiding council people is not doing better. So I'm gonna wish everybody a happy Saturday. And Mickey, it's a pleasure coming here with you. Today we are going to be at the public library. I believe that today is the Gloria Cole Library. It will be Gloria Cole's Flint Public Library. She's a phenomenal, wonderful woman. And that is this afternoon. I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to that. The chair of that board is former Mayor Stanley's wife, Rita Stanley. She was the chair of the Big Brothers Big Sisters for years, and she stands on her alone. She volunteers in so much, in our community and serves on so many boards, and she gives back. She gives back, and she cares about her community. She don't have to volunteer to keep stuff going. Also they have the Woodrow Stanley leadership that once a month that they have at McCree, because we do need good leadership. So I'm gonna end with this, Mickey. Hey, y'all, we need to be transparent. This is your government. I understand I work for the people, and that ARPA money, y'all need to be at that budget meeting because I got 10 days later, maybe 11 days, I still haven't got an answer on how they process it. And I got to set a meeting up, and that's not going to happen before Monday. Guarantee. Guarantee. Anything you want to say, Mickey? Well, I appreciate y'all tuning in, and please share this. Share this. If you have not had your service line replaced, contact, or you're not sure, or if you need restoration, contact your council person. Contact your council person. If your council person does not respond, you can shoot me a text, email, inbox me. I will have it added to the list. I don't want any residents left behind at all. Let's get these service lines changed. I want y'all to be cool, stay out the sun, enjoy the weather. And what was Al Green's peace, love, and happiness? Oh, peace, love, and hair grease. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend.